This is a case study of a confession of an actual pro bodybuilder that came to me in the last 6 months, and I want to be very careful to disclose any identifying information at all, but he did give a blessing for me to do this. So let's just say his age is late 30s, he's under 40, and he started using steroids at 20 years old. So he's approaching 20 years of steroid use, and he has some significant medical issues, and that's why he comes to me and why I'm doing this presentation for you, talking about what pro bodybuilders do with blast and cruise cycles and what it takes to get up on stage. This guy turned pro in his late 20s, around 28, and he competed till 33. 35 years old, he started having some significant health issues, and he retired and disappeared. Now, he did compete in the Olympia. He competed all the way, not in the top 3 or 5. He was at the Olympia. He made it to the Olympia and tons of other big pro shows for many years. This guy was about 260 on stage, about 5'9" or so, maybe 5'8". And here are the health consequences that he has right now that he's suffering with under the age of 40. He has significant enlargement of the heart. He has heart failure. He has left ventricular hypertrophy, and he has a depressed ejection fraction. That's where the heart is not functioning well. It's not pumping adequately. His ejection fraction has ranged from 35 to getting up to about 45%, which is still low. Normal is 55 or so, or higher. He has significant chronic kidney disease, a type of kidney disease that's very specific to anabolic steroid users that's all too well known to us now, called focal segmental glomerular sclerosis. His BUN sits around 80 to 100. Creatinine cruises 1.8 to like 2.23. He has significant and chronic proteinuria into his urine. This is very bad, guys. He has significant erectile dysfunction, and of course he has anabolic steroid-induced hypogonadism. I'm going to review his meds in the end, and then I'm going to tell you all the blast cycles, what he told me and what he confessed to. So essentially at the moment, he has to inject his penis with Trimix. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you're concerned for your testosterone levels. In addition to testosterone, you want to check sexual binding globulin, estradiol, free androgen index, and potentially cortisol. That's where I want to talk about today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked. They're a worldwide leader in at-home test kits, so you can get a comprehensive look at your testosterone levels and other labs without even leaving your home. You can order a test kit that will be delivered to you in discreet packaging. Once your sample arrives in the laboratory, confidential results will be available from your secure online account within 2 to 5 business days. These results are reviewed by a clinician, and a member of the Let's Get Checked nursing team may call you to review your results. Let's Get Checked laboratories are CLIA approved and CAP accredited, which are the highest ranking levels of accreditation for labs. So if you want to test your hormone levels without having to leave your home, visit trylgc.com. And only for the Anabolic Doc fans, check out in the description the link and use promo code Anabolic Doc. To get a decent erection for sex, Viagra and Cialis and combinations of testosterone and any other combination of PED doesn't work. He has to inject his penis with Trimix. You can check that stuff out. That's end-stage erectile dysfunction where that's going to be typically an older man that has vascular disease or maybe status post prostatectomy, where they take the prostate out, or just a guy who has significant diseases and older, and the erectile vasodilatation of the corpus cavernosum with nitric oxide and the whole system with the brain and the CNS and so much. It just doesn't work. So you have to actually directly inject into the penis, and that keeps you humble, guys. It's a humbling thing. On top of his heart disease and his kidney disease, his coronary arteries actually are fine. He had obviously angiograms, and he's had physicians working with him for several years now. And it's interesting that you could have damaged myocardial tissue and cardiomyopathy of the anabolic steroid type, where he has really heart failure now and chronic kidney disease, but his coronary arteries are clean. You see that, guys? You see, there's a whole combination and statistical permutation, if you will, of different issues that you're just gambling based on your genetics. Okay. So his medical regimen today is testosterone cypionate, and his doctors allow him to take it, and his doctors prescribe it to him. He's coming to me for a unified management situation, for me to look over everything, which I do this regularly. So he's on cypionate, about 150 milligrams a week, broken up in 2 injections. He has significant hypertension, and he's one of those labile hypertensives where it's up and down. It's very, very tricky. He's on Entresto for the heart failure. You want to look at this medicine, combination for heart failure, valsartan ARB, angiotensin receptor blocking agent, with sacubitril, which is a very particular agent. Mechanism of action is a vasodilator with a medicine that causes reductions of intravascular edema. So that's that edema. You see that? Androgens can cause edema, and for years you'll be hypertensive. You won't even notice it when you're young, and it's, again, it can potentially and guaranteed actually at a certain point to remodel your myocardial tissue and your heart. And I'm reaching out to you guys to believe me. In the beginning, when men are 20s, even 30s, and even 40s sometimes, you're not going to feel any of this. That's why you want to be careful with steroids. Don't use them. Use little, like back in the day, and don't use any. And just being on testosterone is enough. That's my opinion. Thank you, guys. So he's also on Norvasc for the hypertension. Now, let's talk about the blast and cruise cycles this guy did. This is incredible. I've heard it before, guys. Here's the cruise. This is year round. Testosterone, at least 400 milligrams a week, even cruising on up to 1 gram. Blast is 2 grams. And it's not for a cutting cycle, it's for a bulking cycle. Love Tren Ace, 500 to 1,000 a week. Again, this is the bulk. Equipoise, 750 a week. Masteron, loved it on and off, even during bulking phases, up to 300 a week. Anti-estrogenic, they think. Great for the libido, on top of all the DHT-derived drugs as well. Primo, 500 a week. Anavar, 100. This is going to be a cruise bulk depiction, what he told me. Now, of course, he's on growth hormone, 10 IUs a day, pretty much year round, maybe goes down to 4, blast up to 20. Insulin, all year round, cruises on it. I can't believe it, 10 units, 3 or 4 times a day after training with carbohydrates. Okay, so that's cruise. That's cruise cycle for a lot of these guys, which he told me is true, because you just have to cruise on a lot of gear to maintain the muscle mass. You start coming off that, you lose muscle mass in the bulking phase. This is what's amazing, guys. I don't think many men in the world realize this. So when he bulks and he really goes heavy, he just cranks up the test, the Tren Ace, and the Equipoise. That's his regimen, he said. That's what most guys do. Loves the Anavar, Anadrol. That's bulking stuff. Cranks up the GH, still uses insulin. Not touching the diuretics yet, guys. So that's a bulking kind of cruise and even blast. Using these drugs, just cranking up the doses, always staying on test. Now, let's talk about the pre-contest cut blast. Test is going down, right? So test, they wean down test. Some guys stop it even 6 weeks out, and they don't always feel good, I can tell you that. Crank up the Tren Ace, and he said he'll go up to 1 gram a week. He said that's that hard look. That's what the hard look is. And this guy's honest. Loves equipoise on top of the trend. It's crazy. Equipoise, $750 a week. He's even done 1 gram. And start cranking up the Masteron, taking the Primo down, keeping the Anavar way up 100 milligrams a day. That's what he takes weeks before the show. Loves Winstrol, Winnie tabs, he says, even Winstrol V injections if he can get it. But doesn't like that so much because it says it looks horrible in the injection site, because it looks terrible. And this guy's standing up there naked, right? So you've seen those issues of those horrible abscesses up there, and sterile abscesses where it's just puffed and hard. And under the lights, you could see that stuff, he told me. And this guy's confessing everything. Guys, I've heard this before. This is just what it takes. So I want you guys to think, you ready for this? And don't let people tell you that they don't do this. Every single guy up there in this level does that. Now, I want the gurus. Come on, gurus. You want to argue in this? You're the guys that are telling them to take this. I tell you, there's going to be hell to pay in the end. Karma's a bitch. On top of the growth, so he stays on growth, and then the cutting stuff is they start increasing, they start adding in diuretics, even weeks before the show, and certainly a week before the show. Lasix, loop diuretics, spironolactone, aldactocide combination, aldactone. These are potassium sparing diuretics these guys are playing with because they know how to use them. And when you see someone falling on stage from dehydration, they cut water on top of using diuretics. I just think shame on anyone that's going to tell you what to do, and you're going to do this yourself. You're getting the information from somewhere. I just think it's just unreal. And you talk about the dangers and the disease. No wonder his kidneys. It's amazing his kidneys he's not in dialysis. And I've seen dialysis a lot. And more. You're going to see a lot more of it if you think you're going to live like this into your 30s and 40s. But imagine that. Imagine my age, you're completely shot already. I don't know, guys. So that's it. That's the pre-contest blast. There's clenbuterol in there, but he doesn't like the shakes, and he told me more for women. They use it, but I think the drugs I just laid out with the growth, and they can't afford IGF-1. He doesn't even know if it's real, but he cranks up the GH and the insulin, though. He carefully does that, even in the contest prep, to get full and to get all that vascularity, he said. So that's it, guys. That's my interpretation. I don't really actually know these drugs really so much as like, how do you get them and what do you do? And it's just amazing. But I wanted to present this to you guys. This is what a pro bodybuilder does. This is what they're all doing to different degrees. And you see the health consequences now in the guys, that are even close to my age, even in their late 40s. Is it worth it, guys? Let's get the comments now. Let's get the comments, back to the day where you just did some tests and some D-ball and came on and off, and of course you can get shut down and all this and that, so be careful. Oh, these guys are completely shut down. But they're never going to say it. It's nice that Jay Cutler's coming out and telling the truth. Ronnie's been talking about it for years, but and these are the best genetics in the world. They have to do steroids. What do you guys think about that? Is it worth it? Or you just want to do nothing and just do something else? I'm just trying to give you guys thinking for you guys. That's what I'm here for you guys. I've moved along. We're moving the ball up the field for you guys, and I really want to protect young men from don't do any of this stuff. If you don't realize you're going to be A, on testosterone for life, and B, you may have some of these medical issues. Yeah, you may not take all this, but I see guys with a lot less have medical issues. How about this? If you live long enough, look at your dad or your uncle or someone that's just older. They have medical issues, heart failure and kidney disease anyway. Don't you want to preserve those organs? That's my thinking. If you want to be on a little testosterone, if you need it, just beware and just low doses, and just follow all of my information with the ABCDS's, and get on the Anabolic Doc app, because that's where I'm giving all this information, how to protect yourself moving forward, not just steroid users and men on testosterone, but just men in general, because you need access to real, proper, evidence-based medical information. Thank you so much, guys. I hope this helps.